Hey guys, it's Mary, and welcome back to Homestead Dream. Today's episode is going to be amazing and pretty fun for me. I am going to go through and do a garden tour of the main area in the backyard and our raised beds and some of the grow bags. Now, if you see me going like that, the gnats are horrible. So let's not waste any time. Come on, let me show you what I got. We're going to go ahead and start in the back. Funny story, I actually did this video last night and then it didn't save. And I was just like, nope, I'll redo it. So here we are, redoing it. Over in our back corner, we have a lilac bush that we planted when we first moved in. And behind it, we have asparagus. Now, I found out by accident last year that the pumpkin grow really well over in this corner, so we've planted a bunch of those. And then, of course, the elderberry, which we talked about. Over here, we have a double cattle panel with T-post put in, and we have gone in and I've planted cucumber down on the ground so that they can kind of sprawl out. And then over here, we have our loofah, which I'm so excited about. Let me see. I think right here. Can you see that little guy? That is a loofah. And I have tried to grow loofah, I think, for the last 3 years. Never been successful because they do take a really long time. And my grow zone here in central Indiana is never long enough. So I started them indoors this year and we are having success. We have our rampicante squash. Now these are a plant that we thought we would never grow again because they kind of just take over, but they do so well. So we decided to do that again. And let me see, we have quite a few of them growing. There's one starting, and those are going to get really, really big. I've also thrown in a few dahlias, zinnias. I think I have calendula in there as well. And then on this side, we have pumpkin, like the little baby bear pumpkins that are used for baking and such. So the next spot that we have, I'm going to grab my stand so I can show you, is our melons and some herbs. Our melons are doing really well so far. Let's see, we get them in there. Let's go back in here. So we have our cantaloupe back in the back, and we have our watermelon in the front, and then when they grow, they kind of merge. We've had major success with that in the past, so we're going to continue to do that. The watermelon has only been at my own downfall because I always pick them too soon. Even though the tendril is brown, I still pick them too soon somehow. And then we have a lot of radish growing in between the watermelon and the cantaloupe, along with a hill country red okra. We do a lot of the radish, carrots, and things of that nature because it becomes more of a weed barrier for it. So that's really nice. And this big guy right here, if you see any of the sunflowers that are not along the back fence, these are all volunteers, meaning they came because little birdie planted them for me, so I don't have to worry about it. Our garden is outlined in herbs, cilantro, so like cilantro, dill, basil. We have onions and then celery. Now, here we have this empty, it looks empty to you guys, but here soon it's going to be completely taken over. That is our sweet corn. Our sweet corn we planted 3 different times. We've had horrible luck with bugs and critters coming in and eating our corn. So I had to go against the grain and start them from seed, which is not ideal, but sometimes it's just something you have to do. Now, this big patch that we got going on right here is our green beans. And again, I had to start them from seed, even though they don't recommend it as much. But because we had such an early spring, I have loads and loads of green beans coming on. And I'll take it in the back of the garden where behind the beans, I have squash. I have the black zucchini, your regular green, it's called Black Beauty. And then I have the yellow squash, and I have, they're called, oh my gosh, I'm drawing a blank. They're white scallop squash. They'll just little small things, but I got to show you how loaded my zucchini or my yellow squash is. There are so many that are coming on. Let me flip it over. So that is exciting. Yeah. Imagine that. Mary said that's exciting about the garden. But yeah, so the back fence always has the sunflowers, and my neighbors really enjoy seeing them come over. We have 4 eggplant, which are right here. We've got some blooms coming on, so we'll get to that. Oh, that one just fell off. So if a bloom falls off really easily, it tends to be one that was not pollinated. This beautiful mess behind me are my tomatoes. Now, I'm not going to go into detail of the types of tomatoes that I have, only because I could do a whole video on that. I have about 10 different types of tomatoes, ranging from paste tomatoes to slicers to cherries. And then we have our 3 tomatillos. Now, tomatillos, it's my first year growing them. These are one of the plants that I actually purchased, but if you can see, these things are loaded with blooms. And my entire purpose of growing the tomatillos is for the salsa verde. I usually do the green tomatoes at the end of the season, and I'll turn them into, I seen a bug. I was making sure it wasn't a squash bug. I turn my green tomatoes into salsa verde, but this year I want to use the actual tomatillos. And this trellis that we have right here, we have multiple different kinds of cucumbers, from your munchers to your slicers. And then we have an Armenian cucumber, which is supposedly, I haven't been successful growing it, but the Armenian on a smaller scale turns into more of a texture of a cucumber. When they continue to grow, they're supposed to taste a little bit more like a melon. So I figured, why not give it a shot? Directly in front of the tomatoes, we have all of our sweet peppers, and these are really beginning to come in with a bunch of blooms as well. I have 3 banana, and then all of the other ones are just your sweet peppers, meaning green peppers. I think the kinds are Keystone Giant, Emerald Green, and Giant Marconian. Now, with green peppers, they start out green. If you leave them on, they'll turn into red peppers. And we have another cucumber right in here, and I got to show you this because this one has some really nice looking cucumbers. Let's see. Right in here, we got a long one right there. We got another one right in here. And then behind those are the hot peppers. Now, our hot peppers have been attacked by critters, anywhere from moles. No, I don't think the moles ate those. There was a bunny, there's been chipmunks, there's been slugs and pill bugs eating my seedlings. So we've had a really rocky start, but I'm not going to get too concerned. But we have, I think there's like 8 jalapenos, and then we have Anaheim and 2 Sugar Rush Peach and 1 Ghost. And the reason we did the ghost pepper was because my husband's friend had said that he had difficulties always starting them. So I went ahead and started a few for him to help out, and then turned around and was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep one for myself. So that's what I did. So now bringing us over to my the first green stalk that I ever purchased. The first 2 rows are covered in sweet peas. Now these are going to be your shelling peas, so I leave them on for quite a bit. And some of these may look a little bare, and that's because I have already gone in and did some harvesting. But we've got celery up in there. So the first two layers are peas and celery. And like, see, I harvested this lettuce and then some herbs. So I'll be getting ready to start some seeds and get some spots in there. This next raised bed is going to be my white onions. As you can see, they're doing really, really well, super strong and sturdy. And then next to it is an experiment of potatoes. And I'm hoping that they don't hurt them, but I guess only one way to find out. In the next bed, we've got more onions. And these are the Walla Walla. Now, this year I've done a little something different. Generally, when I grow onions, I will buy sets, and I've had really good success from them. But I heard that when you start them from seed, they do a lot better. So we're going to find out together. The other one, this is going to be your, I think it's white globe, Southport white globe, white onions. And then in this empty space is ginger. Now, ginger takes a long time, and no, it's not going to get as big as it could possibly get in this bed because I didn't plant it soon enough. Really, in my grow zone, I probably should have started it inside, but it's an experiment, and it's my garden, so I'm allowed to experiment with it. In the other green stalk, this is also like experimental, just kind of throwing things in there. We have herbs, we have hyssop, basil, we have strawberries. Let's see, we have cucumbers, and our cucumbers are pretty loaded on here. You can see them like a little poking in. So I'm pretty excited. This big sunflower right here is actually a volunteer growing in between. And my son is so excited about it that I refuse to pull it right now, at least until it starts doing damage to the bricks. But I figured let's just leave it, see what happens. And because usually volunteer plants are way better than all the other ones. So over here on this side, we have our blackberry bush. Let me see if I can kind of get out of the sun so you guys can see better. But we had covered those in the last video. I do need to come back out and cover more of them to protect them, but this is my raspberry. Never really did as well. And then my first year of actually, so look at this, blueberries. This one is almost ready. But the birds usually eat my blueberries, but not this year. Nope. We have potato bags all in here. I did not label them, but I know there's red, yellow, and white, and I'll know which is which, obviously, when I harvest it. And then I had this grow bag right here, so I went ahead and I put some tomato. I put a tomato in it, and then there's a bunch of, let's see, lime basil. Yep. Now I did do another experiment. I have an area in my backyard that doesn't get as much sun. So I did plant some extra potatoes that I had in the ground just to see what they do. Now they are doing fairly well. So that is exciting. And then I also planted some squash back here. And the purpose of the squash is they're not going to grow as well. However, the bonus with that is I planted the sweet meat, which is supposed to attract more squash bugs than other squash plants. So I'm hoping that being over here in the corner, they'll be less likely to attack my plants. I have had, gosh, I think I found 2 squash bugs so far, and I just usually pick them off and kill them. This whole back row along the fence is all zinnias. There's a couple volunteer sunflowers. We have straw flower, a couple other things, and then I don't know if you'll be able to see this little guy in here. No, probably not. They're leaf-footed nymph bugs, but I tend to like to keep them around because they attack the bad bugs. But I will say, if you get bit by one of those, you will know because it's excruciating. We got our pear tree, and then our apple. Our apple tree is a hybrid. There's multiple different kinds on one tree, so they self-pollinating. I don't have to have multiple trees. And we have a flower, our calendula. Yeah, so this is my backyard garden. In the front, there are a few raised beds, and I'm also growing popcorn on the side of the house. Now, we keep them separate because we don't want the popcorn and the sweet corn to pollinate each other. And let's get to a good angle. There we go. So there you have it, guys. I was able to show you my backyard and the garden that we have. Our view is amazing. I really never thought that my garden would get as big as it is and I would be able to grow the abundance of things that I do have. So it's definitely a blessing. And you'll be able to see right here, I do have more seeds started. And then I'm going to do another video this week that'll drop of how to start seeds, common asked questions, days to harvest, your grow zone, and how to find out what your grow zone is so that you'll be able to start things. Because the good news is you can start now and still grow things. I will be starting more today and then recording the video for you guys to drop later this week. And then in July, I'll be planting a lot of our fall crops. So our crops that'll more cold tolerant. So I'm really excited that you guys are going to be on this journey to watch me grow everything. And the good news is if I make a mistake, you benefit from it, right? And if I do good, you also benefit from it because I can give you the tips and tricks on what to do and what not to do. But I am very thankful. I feel very blessed. And it's truly been amazing to start this channel and reach people and let my excitement of plants kind of shine through. Because when you talk to certain people, in life about your garden and they kind of zone over and they're like, oof, this is too much for me, where I could talk all day about a garden. But I'm excited to take you along on the tomato harvests and the green bean harvests and do a video when we're harvesting potatoes. That's actually really fun, as odd as it sounds. But I do thank you guys for taking the time to come out here and watch my video. Don't forget to hit subscribe and don't forget to hit like. And you can share all my videos whenever you want. I promise I won't mind. But until next time, I hope you guys have an amazing day filled with many blessings. Thank you.